with previous projects.
I guess I don't know what that prior relationship is.
Last month, the board approved we have that simulation for threat assessment software that they're developing for it,
The one I
for
didn't
ASCIP.
know on. That's the one I opposed.
Yes.
Guess I'm still opposing it. Okay. Any other questions? I would like, if we get this grant, I think there's a lot of gaping holes about what we think it's going to do and how it's going to work. Perhaps, when is it due?
July 10th.
July 10th. Yeah, there it is. Well, I would like to know more about it, so I'd like us to
We'll provide
keep
you.
abreast. That's $5 million only in 3 years, so I think it would be important for us to understand,
We'll
especially
provide-
in light of all of our other discussions of late. There's probably a lot of things that we'd like to see in it, and I would hope that it's not written in a vacuum without regard to the board's direction and goals and all the input we've been receiving from the community in this area.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item 7.
Authorization to renew contracts awarded through request for proposals for bid for 2014-15 fiscal year.
Move approval.
Moved by Mr. Richardson. I'll second it. Any questions?
I have, just for
Okay.
the record, there's 2 items that I won't support, but I'll support the remainder. And under facilities building services, there's painting services and plumbing services. Historically, I've always opposed them because these were services that previously our staff did. So, but other than that, I'm fine with the rest.
Question.
Okay.
For these, we're approving the extension of the contracts. I just wanted to know what the initial contract term was, for how many years?
That's shown on the table.
Where is it? So, okay, so if it's showing here that it's January the 14th to 17th, why is it that it's coming back to us? Is it coming to the board every additional year or something? If you can explain that.
I think that these are contract renewals, so we have an option to renew up
Okay.
until 17 and use this same pricing for the bid.
Okay. But the way the contract agreement's written, like every year they'll come back to the board for renewal, is that what it is?
That's what
Okay.
it is.
Okay.
Okay. So, Mr. Palazzo, you're just registering opposition to 2 line items?
Yes,
within
because
this.
those are services that normally our staff do.
Okay, is that noted, Ms. Casella? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item 8.
Authorization to renew annual listing of agreements and contracts with Santa Ana Unified School District and various consultants submitted for 2014-15 fiscal year.
There's a lot of them here.
Yeah, there is.
I feel questions coming on. Is there a motion?
I'll move approval.
Moved by Mr. Palacio. I'll second. Seconded by Mr. Richardson. There's lots of people
Yes.
and individuals and organizations here.
I have questions. I mean, I have a lot of questions, like you're saying, Dr. Noji. So,
Do you have anywhere to start?
well, let me see. The one where, the ones that concern me are the, like the number 15. Like Zarka Interactive to do for the local control funding formula.
Yes. So we used K-12 Insight as a part of the LCAP process in terms of using them for surveys and being able to target surveys and then be able to do analysis of what the results are in real time and kind of do some in-depth data analysis on what's happening. So we use them to formulate some of the questions and to get to the answers that we really wanted to find out the answers for, as well as we're going to be talking about doing a kind of a more comprehensive effort with the community to be able to let them give us more input, more than what they've been able to do. So far we have a website and you can go on there and you can put in comments about the LCAP. But this is a platform that we're trying to engage in that will allow them to tell us all kinds of different things and give us more input with respect to whatever the parents or community members want to tell us in different categories. And it's like a whole interactive process.
So the communication is going to be with a consultant, not with district staff? I don't get it.
No, they'll work with district staff to design it,
Okay.
and then it'll stand alone on our website. It'll link to us, and then we'll be able to see that dialogue. We'll be able to formulate chat rooms. We'll be able to, however we want to receive that information and showcase that, so that it's very transparent.
Okay.
This is done has been done in some other districts, and has been really successful in terms of that community interaction and engagement with internal as well as external staffs.
For if it's okay with you, I just there's a lot. Anything that's over 100,000, I'm going to question. And there's a lot of those, so I just
How critical is it to approve this
Yeah.
tonight?
Well, we can pull it for next time, but we'll have more probably coming on next time as well. 'Cause these are, pretty much all the contracts for next year that are not those bid renewals. These are like the regular contract
I
renewals.
don't think that some of them are regular. I think some of them are consultants.
Well, some are renewals and
So
some,
I think it's mixed
right, you're right.
in there. And so, like, there's a whole bunch of, looks like attorneys and doctors on risk management, and those might be standard. Is there any way to separate those things out?
We can do
Because
that.
like, there's one on here that it doesn't, you can't read it and tell what he does, but I know what he does, number 4. But I think that has to do with training. I know he does that whole
So we can-
program on hydration. Would that be helpful, Ms. Iglesia?
Yeah. And about a third of these pages here relate to mental health. So,
Right.
because they're part of it's contractual.
You're right.
And so you might just isolate it, and so you'll know that it's all part of a block. And that'll make it easier.
I'll feel comfortable just if we don't have to approve it today, then just because it's a lot, too many.
Is there anything here that you need to prove?
Well, this
I
is
mean, I
all
know they're all
setting up for
important,
next
but-
year, so there's nothing that's like burning on fire on this list that will need. Does anybody need anything on?
I'm just wondering why we, as a board, for sake of being able to move forward, didn't ask these questions before we had a whole weekend to do it. So, if there's issues to be raised, I think it should have been raised, in all fairness to the staff, prior to the meeting.
I think it's because they're mixed in together. There's some, looks like individual, maybe one time, so many month contracts mixed in with ongoing contracts.
No, I understand that, Dr. Noja, but it's not like, I don't think that they added all of a sudden number 8. We had all the items when we took it home, when it was received at home. Or did we not, Dr. Miller?
We had it, Mr. Hernandez, but it's one of those things that I think, as a public, we're responsible for knowing where the money is going. So I would like more clarification.
So we have is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Hernandez, there is a motion and a second,
Okay.
but we were in the middle of a discussion, so the motion was to approve and the second was also to approve.
If I could ask the board for a little bit more clarity, so when I bring this back, I want to make sure I give you the information that you'd
Well,
like.
we're not there yet.
Okay.
You may get it approved.
Or not.
So, let's see, Ms. Costello, the motion was by Mr. Palacio and seconded by Mr. Richardson. You're still in favor of moving it forward?
I don't have any problem, but
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
still
up to you
favor?
guys.
Yeah, and if
Okay.
there are
right.
individual items that folks wish to withdraw, then
Okay.
we should do that and
Okay.
carry those over. I mean, there's a contract